Welcome back, everybody. My name is Miguel Fernandez, and you're tuned into the Big Three, the Only Three, the Deep Three NBA show. And I'm joined today by the one, the only, Jesiah Allen. How you doing?
I'm doing good, my brother, and yourself.
I'm chilling. It's been a long time.
Yes, sir, man. We back at it, man.
Yeah, we're here to talk some playoff basketball. If I
Let's get it.
Let me know if I'm capping. Is round one already better than round one last year?
No, round one is interesting. Round one this
I
year is
feel
crazy.
like
I
it.
ain't gonna front.
A couple of the
There's a
series,
lot
I
going on.
Warriors Nuggets. That series obviously that's not going too. It's not too entertaining. Sixers Raptors, same thing. But the rest of them, most of them they've been pretty fun. And last year, I feel like a lot of Bucks beat the Heat up. Nets swept the Celtics last year first round. Wizards got swept by Philly first round. Yeah, like this season.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of different stuff
Then
going on this year.
the
But
Chicago series.
yeah, that one's entertaining. We're gonna get to it. But before we start talking any playoff basketball, we gotta start with some breaking news. The Hornets fired their head coach, James Borrego. I'm just gonna go out and say it. I think they're wrong for firing him. It was not his fault that they lost by 30 points in both play-ins this year
Nah,
and
yeah.
last year. I was a fan
I
of
don't
James
think.
Borrego.
Yeah, we need to.
I think he's a
Mm-hmm.
great coach. Well, great is an extent, but if you look at in his system, guys have gotten better every single year. PJ Washington, he's gotten better. Miles Bridges, he's obviously a way different player than when he first came into the league, and so on and so forth. LaMelo took a step forward this season. Terry Rozier's been better since he's gotten there. I think the main reason why they've done so bad is because they're losing their most important piece for majority of the season in Gordon Hayward. Back to back years, he gets injured and the team just falls off a cliff. And I don't think that's his fault. Yeah, they should have.
I think it's the defense.
Yeah, their defense is. They have probably the worst defense I've ever seen in my life.
Nah,
Honestly,
yeah, it's like. I think that's what they need to work on. Like, get some defenders, some wings. Like, I ain't gonna front. I think that's what the problem. I think even with Gordon Hayward, obviously the team would have been better, but I feel like he's not no defensive stopper. I feel like that's what they need
he's
to
not
work
a
on for next
stopper,
season.
but he's not a net negative. Like at least he held his own. I don't know. I might just
Nah,
be a
yeah, yeah,
Gordon Hayward
yeah.
fan. I like him. I thought that he's not gonna be the reason why their defense goes from worst in the league to at least top 15. Like he's not doing that. There's too many holes to fill in that roster, from the center position to
Nah,
them
yeah.
just being they have too many guards. But like I don't know. And I think this I brought up the stat a couple weeks ago. James Booknight was the first lottery pick to not he played or he played the lowest amount of minutes on for a lottery pick on a team that didn't make the playoffs. Which doesn't make no sense. He should have got at least some burn to help develop him. I liked him a lot coming out of college. Hopefully next year they give my boy a chance, but
Yeah, guard heavy over there in Charlotte for
yeah,
sure,
it's a lot of mouths to feed over there. But they gotta at least they're
for
gonna have
sure.
a lottery pick coming into this year's draft as well. Hopefully they could do something with it and draft the right guy. They've been a solid team at drafts in these last couple of seasons. They definitely missed or not missed, but Kai Jones and James Booknight just had no impact on their team this past season.
Yeah, at all.
I think they probably go another big man, and there's a lot of options at that position. But let's get into the teams that matter.
Okay,
Starting off with
okay.
the two teams that met in the finals last season, Suns and Bucks take a hit. Devin Booker, I should have searched this up. I forgot. I don't know what his injury was, but I know he's out for 4 weeks. Middleton sprained MCL. He's out for 4 weeks as well. Starting off with Phoenix, how does this impact them moving forward, and specifically in this Pelican series that's tied up 1-1? Do they
I
still pull it out? That's the real question.
I feel like they're still gonna pull it out, but that definitely, but and it could work in Phoenix' favor too because now like the game planning like changes. You never know who's gonna have a good night. Cam Johnson might go crazy.
I feel like that's
Bridges,
the guy
but
to watch for. Is Cam Johnson.
who Bridges
No,
or
Cam
Johnson?
Johnson. He's gonna be most likely the one that steps in and starts in place of D Book. He's the closest
Mm-hmm.
facsimile to Devin Booker's game on their team. And even though nobody on their team could do what he does, especially as a two-way force at this moment, the way he's grown as a defender over the last couple of seasons. I don't know, I think they're gonna miss him.
Do you think Pelicans can pull it off?
I might just be biased. I'm not even being biased. I'm going to say it. I think the Pelicans are going to pull off this series. I think they're going to pull off the upset. I've been high on the Suns all year
How many
long.
games?
I think they could force it to 7. I just think,
Okay.
like
Oh,
I
you
sat
think they
down
can
and
win in 7?
I think they could. I think they could win the series. I broke it down. Like I really sat there and thought about it. I think this gives them the Pelicans now. I think they have the best player in the series. You know, I love Chris Paul. I love his impact is bigger than anybody on the court. But Brandon Ingram is going to be able to go out there and do him. We see him first game,
That is
the
true.
defense got to him. Second game, they pulled out the win, and he's been a force in these first 2 games. He's just playing great basketball. And CJ McCollum could be the best player on the court any given night as well. We've seen it when he was with Portland. He had a big series against Denver, dropped 36 in the closeout game to beat that squad. And now I think it's really up to it's going to be all on Chris Paul's shoulders. It is. And I think
Yep.
you're going to see a all rookie first team candidate in Herb Jones. His assignment went from guarding Devin Booker, I think it was a 50-50 split. Now you're going to see all of his minutes are going to be tasked of guarding Chris Paul. And I like that matchup for him. The length, the athleticism. He's got a couple inches on Chris Paul. He's a great defender. He has the wingspan.
Mm-hmm.
He can move his feet. He can stay with him. Just be up on him. Just give him pressure the whole game long. And they've done it. I don't know. I like what Willie Green's doing too. He's coming from that Phoenix system last season, and he had a hell of a season coaching his Pelican squad. And another guy, got to shout him out to him. Valanciunas has been a beast on the boards these first 2 games. They've out rebounded Phoenix in both of the matchups. And Valanciunas is the main part of that. I think he grabbed 12 offensive rebounds in one of these
12,
games.
yeah.
Yeah,
Valanciunas.
he's been everything that DeAndre Ayton can handle. And they're dropping on all
And
of the
Nance
screens.
too.
Yeah, Nance has just been a beast coming off the bench. This is the role he should have played with Portland. But Chauncey Billups wasn't giving it to him. But now he's shining. He's shining. This is a perfect role for him. And next season,
I think it's Zion.
I keep talking about next season with this squad. When Zion gets there, you put him in the place of Jackson Hayes. I don't like the fit. I don't know why they start Jackson Hayes with Valanciunas. I don't like the fit, but if it works, it works. Jackson Hayes has his moments. He had great moments in that game 2. He had a couple stretches where he looked like he was a beast on the court. Yeah, his athleticism. He could definitely shift momentum in his favor. But I don't know. I like this Pelican squad a lot.
I like this. Yeah. Hey, they look solid right now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be tough for Phoenix. I'm not counting them out. I would still consider them the favorites to win the series, even if Devin Booker's out. But I just have a feeling. I have a feeling about the Pelicans. It's hard when you have 2 guys on that squad that can just get a bucket on anybody. Like Miguel Bridges, probably best perimeter defender in the NBA. Is between him and Marcus Smart. But when you have 2 guys that could go out there and just get it in the ISO, and no matter who's guarding him, and Ingram you can't contest his shot. If his shot is falling, it's like it's curtain. You can't do nothing about it.
Oh yeah.
You were gonna say
do you think Chris Paul's gonna be aggressive?
I think he's gonna have to be.
He has to be.
First game we seen it. He had 30 points, had a big fourth quarter. I think it's for them. I think they keep the game close. They try to muck it up. They bring the pace down. They play to their style. They slow the pace, bring it to a close game in the fourth quarter. Because they've been one of the best closing fourth quarter teams I've ever seen in my life. Like the way they come down in crunch time, the way they control every possession of the game, their defense, their offense, the way Chris Paul could just get to his spot, could set up anybody on the court. And we've seen the game plan from the Pelicans since game 1 has been make Chris Paul a scorer. They're dropping on every
Yeah,
screen that's set for him, so they're forcing him to be this take that shot. And I like the game plan because if Chris Paul's not creating for others, that's you're taking away his best
a
asset.
lot. Yeah,
If he's
yeah,
not getting shots for others, like it's gonna be tough for those other guys to eat.
yeah. Definitely, that keep up. Yeah, that's especially with D Book. Now he gotta do everything. Not everything, but he gotta be aggressive,
He's got
and
to
he
do
still
everything.
gotta look for
Honestly,
others.
they got great
Yeah. I was
players on
trying
their
to be
team,
nice, but
but
he gotta do everything. Yeah,
they have great players on the team. They've been great all season long, but this is playoff basketball. Like
playoff
you're not gonna
basketball
be
is
able to
final.
win without your best scorer. You could, but you just need somebody else to step up. And Cam Johnson's the guy that everybody's going to be looking at, honestly. I want to see him get it to like 15 shots a game. He's been an efficient shooter all season long. I like him on defense. He's going to be streaky. You're going to be, but like you said before, the Suns they're gonna have anybody that could go off any given night. So that's
Might
to
be
their advantage.
campaign.
It could be campaign. It could be we could see a Jay Crowder 7 3-pointer game. Like you just never know.
No, yeah, yeah.
You could see one of those. You could see a
Nice.
Miguel Bridges go off. I want to see him really step up as well. Miguel Bridges, we talked him up all season long. Let's go out there and do it. Show him why you got that contract.
Oh yeah,
And
I think he
his
could do
college
it too.
coach just retired. We gotta shout out Jay Wright too. Jay Wright,
Jay Wright,
Villanova Wildcat,
Villanova.
just retired. He's got boys balling all over the NBA right now. Shout out Jalen Brunson. We're gonna get to him a little later. He's having a hell of a playoffs
Shit,
to
he's
start
wild.
too. Yes, sir. Let's move on. Let's go back. Let's go to the Bucks, the defending champs. They're tied 1-1 with the
Okay.
Bulls right now. Khris Middleton goes down. They lose game 2. DeMar DeRozan, he came out and showed he's a playoff performer. He drops 41. He calls Giannis out every single possession. Shoots 8 for 9 in the game while Giannis is defending him. What are your thoughts on him now? Do you think they could pull out this Bulls series without Khris Middleton?
Yes, I think they can. Especially if Vucevic is gonna keep on playing how he will. Last game, if he keep on playing like he played last game, and the game before he was missing wide open layups,
Nah,
and
I
there's a
thought he
lot
played.
going
I
on
thought
in
he was
that
the best
game.
player on the Bulls in game 1. I came on here
Game
and I
what?
talked in game
Game
1.
one?
Yeah, everybody
Nah, yeah, nah.
he was
He
inefficient,
was,
but every
though.
single person that played in that game was inefficient. It was just one of those
He was
games.
inefficient. Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, I like I talk shit on Vucevic all season long. His defense trash, all that. But
I
the
think
Bucks
the
are a
Bulls can
good
pull it
matchup
off.
for him because we're seeing Giannis' weakness. He's a great defender, great health defender, all that. But what he cannot do is guard in the post. And with Vucevic out there, the Bucks can't. Their best lineup isn't going to be as effective. With putting Giannis at the 5, put out 4 shooters, and play fastball, get up and down the court. They're not going to be able to run that out there with Vucevic on the court because Giannis guarding the post is going to be a struggle for him. He's going to pick up fouls with Vucevic out there as well. So that's a big X factor for them. I wasn't expecting that coming into the series, but we seen Alex Caruso
Playoff?
is showing he's a
Oh
playoff
yeah.
player. This quote's been going
LA,
around everywhere. Draymond Green said it a couple years ago. I'm not sure how long ago. He said there's 82 game players and there's 16 game players, and Alex Caruso is one of those guys. We're seeing a lot of those in every series. Alex Caruso is one of them. The way he's impacting the game is just his defense. He's been one of the best defenders in the playoffs so far. As a help defender, as guarding Giannis 1-on-1, keeping the ball in front of him. He's had Khris Middleton, Drew Holiday in hell in these first 2 games.
Caruso, man, I miss him in LA. But nah, yeah, the way he's been guarding Giannis was kind of surprising to me. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, wow, that
I
was a
gotta
little
give a shout
shocker
out to
because it's like I know it's Caruso, but
yeah, he's been a great defender. You gotta give a shout out to Nico for that one because he called it. Like a couple months ago when the Bulls were hot, when they were peaking to get into the season, he said if they see the Bucks, it's gonna be a tough series because Caruso's able to guard Giannis. He's not guarding Giannis, but his help defense is really just is putting Giannis still getting wherever he wants on the court, but it's giving It's giving them trouble. It's giving them fits. As a help defender, he's one of the best in
Yeah,
the
it's
league.
not as easy.
It's not for sure. I thought he was just gonna run through him, but
Yeah, me
Patrick
too.
Williams is back. He's been playing great defense as well.
Do you think the Bulls can pull it off?
Honestly, yeah, I might just be calling the upsets on both of them because the Bucks have not been impressive so far. Like through the first two games, game one, the Bulls could have easily won that game. They had some miscommunications down the stretch. They fucked up this and that. Bucks steal the win. Game two, the Bulls go out there and win in Milwaukee, and that's a tough thing. That's a tough place to win that. And you stealing a game on the
That's
road,
real tough.
you're going back to the United Center where that crowd goes wow. They have one of the best home crowds in the East. That's going to be a tough win.
And I know we was talking about Khris, but before the injury, Khris could be a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, he's going to have those games. He's going to have those games where he goes off for
Like, yeah,
36, 37, and he's going to have those games where he goes for 14 on 2 of 16 shooting. 4 of 16 shooting. Like he's going to have those performances. But he's been their closer though. He came up big down the stretch and multiple times last season in the playoffs.
definitely.
They don't win that championship last year without Khris Middleton. So that's
At
going to
all. I
be.
don't think they won the series without Khris.
You don't think they're winning this series without Khris Middleton?
Nah,
I don't know. Honestly, I'm going to call it. I'm going to say
Giannis,
the Bulls pull it out. I'm saying it. I'm going to call it. The Bulls are pulling it out.
the Bulls. I think the Bulls. Yeah, I think the Bulls pull it out too.
I just think that Jrue Holiday, he wasn't great offensively last season either. He had his moments for sure, but he had a great season, but in the postseason last year as well, he was just so up and down. Shot wasn't falling. He started getting hesitant from the 3-point line. And now he's going to be the primary ball handler on that team. And they did a great job. Budenholzer did a great job stagnating him, Giannis, and Middleton. Whenever Giannis wasn't on the court, Jrue and Middleton were on the court, and those guys could carry your offense. Now it's Jrue. There's no Middleton out there. So he's gonna have the luxury of being guarded by Alex Caruso for 45 minutes a night. He's gonna have Patrick Williams on him. He's gonna have Derrick Jones Jr. on him, who's been playing great defense in the series as well. And I've shit on Demar's defense all year long. He's been putting effort out on that side of the court too. I think it's gonna be tough. Yeah, he had a great game.
Special, man.
We've had a couple. I think I might be wrong, but 3 40-point games already so far. A couple games. Then we had one from Jimmy, one from Jalen Brunson, one from Demar. Demar's 40 piece was beautiful, just straight mid range shots. He had a tough layup at Giannis at the basket to really put the game at rest. I think the focus point though has got to be on Jrue Holiday. He's going to be the X factor for the Bucks if they want to move on and win this series, because he's going to have a big series for him to win.
He's gonna have to score.
I don't know.
He's gonna have to score.
I'm a Bucks fan.
Defend
I'm feeling
and score.
Yeah, he's gonna have a great series. And he played. This is going back to the Olympics. He played great. He was the second best player on that Olympic team, outside of KD. He was the second best player. But you see, Middleton and D-Book were both on that USA team as well, and it caught up to them. It definitely caught up. But yeah, I would be concerned if I'm a Bucks fan. The pressure's on.
And one more question: if whoever wins this series, do they play the winner of Boston?
Yeah, they play. Nets? They play Boston.
Oh,
they play Boston.
They're
gonna play. let's get to that series. Let's get to that one. I want to ask you a specific question on that series.
Okay.
How close is Jason Tatum to becoming a top 5 player in the NBA? So he came out. He's been game 1 hits the game winner. He has 31. He has 8 assists. He's played just tremendous defense in these first 2 games. He's been just a force on that side of the court, giving KD fits. KD cannot. He's blocked Kevin Durant's jump shot twice in this series. He's forcing all tough looks. He can't get nothing up against Jason Tatum. Game 2, he struggles to score. He's 5 for 16 from the floor, but he still drops 10 assists in that game. Still has just amazing defense. They pull out the win. he's just been tremendous. He's been one of the biggest players so far in these playoffs. How you feel about him right now, and how close is he to being top 5?
I feel like he's I feel like he's playing amazing right now. Like you said, locking out, KD scoring, passing when he needs to. Um, top 5, how close?
I think right now
Oh
he's
man,
arguably like 8-7. Like you just off the top of the
top
head, he's not better than
Jokic,
Jokic, Embiid,
Giannis,
Giannis. Those three
Jokic,
guys are for a
Embiid.
lot. I would still put Kevin Durant above him. I would still put LeBron
Okay,
above him. That's 5.
okay,
Steph Curry, I think, is still above him. That's
okay.
6. After that, the list gets a little like, who else? I think he's better than Dame. I don't really.
Yeah, like
Kawhi's not playing
yeah.
right now. I would probably put Kawhi over Tatum. I would probably do that.
If he
I
was
just think
playing right now,
Kawhi's not playing, but
yeah. I tell you this though, Boston win it this year. Now we got something to talk about for sure. Like a
if
couple
they make a
names got
run
to
to the
move around.
finals, if they
Yeah,
win
they
the
even like
finals,
when the finals or make it to the finals too. It's like okay, like because Tatum is Tatum is Tatum like that whole team is just like without Robert Williams. Wow,
who's returning game for game 3, that came out today. He's going to be on a minutes restriction, but he's coming back. And even without him there, Al Horford has just been amazing. He's turned the clock. Defensively, he's just been a pest.
for real, like yeah, and and he can shoot that thing, spread the
Yeah,
floor.
exactly. Yeah, 16 rebounds in game 1. Like Al Horford's just been great. That's been that trade for Al Horford for Kemba Walker in the offseason has paid off tremendously for the
Genius.
Celtics. Yeah,
Kimber don't
Brad
even play.
Stevens' best move. Yeah, addition
All
by
right,
subtraction.
how how do you feel about Ben Simmons coming back?
I just I honestly I picked so going into the series I picked the Celtics in 5. I really don't see it making a
Oh shit.
difference. Yeah, I just
Oh,
didn't think that the Nets really had a chance in this series. Like me personally, I've watched majority of the Nets games this season. They're the most ISO heavy team in the NBA. The Boston Celtics played the switchiest defense in the NBA. They switch the most out of every team in the NBA. And if that's the case, it's going to be tough for you to score on them. Like a switching defense versus ISO defense, you're going to be playing 1-on-1 the entire time, and they have the defenders to deal with that. And with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, they just take terrible shots. Like they could make them, and I wouldn't be surprised if next game they make a majority of those shots and they win them. But you're not going to do that over the course of a 7-game series. And I think and then with them playing this, I think this is the same case for the Raptors. We're going to get to that later. At the end of the season, the last 2-3 weeks, we've seen Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving playing 40 plus minutes a game just to get a play-in spot.
yeah,
And
the
these were
playing
games against
spot.
the
Yeah,
Hawks where they lost. This is games against the Rockets where they barely won. Against the Indiana Pacers to close the season. Like it's just too much for them. I thought that they've had
and have to
moments.
play
I was
Cavs.
exactly. I was optimistic after the game 1. I thought KD can't play this bad again. Like they Celtics barely won. I thought that that was a great play to close out the game. Marcus Smart, hell of a pass. And then in game 2 is just the same formula again. You're just forcing tough shots and you're just guarding them up one by one. They're being physical, and that's the Nets' problem. They just lack physicality on their team. Drummond is going to be unplayable coming into the fourth quarter. Claxton is just one of the worst free throw shooters in the NBA. Like that's
Oh yeah,
terrible how many free throws he's missing. And then the three guard lineups is just the Celtics play 2 bigs, so you're going to be getting killed on the boards all series long with 3 guards on the court. And with Kevin Durant playing the 4, you have Kyrie, Goran Dragic, Seth Curry. These guys are sharing the court a lot together. There's floor
should
spacing, but it's
LaMarcus
not.
Aldridge be getting a little bit of burn?
that I have a complaint about that. So you cut James Johnson, right? Because you want to convert Kessler Edwards' contract. I understand that. But Kessler Edwards isn't even playing in this series where James Johnson could have made some effort defensively. Like, he was one of their better defenders this season. He's somebody you could have put on a Tatum. Somebody you could have put as a small ball 5 to combat what they're doing. Like, I don't know. That move right there just didn't make no sense to me.
Now that I think about it, you're right.
Like, if that's the case, why don't you just cut? Like, if you wanted to keep that, why don't you cut Blake Griffin or LaMarcus Aldridge, who are playing? Like, who are not? They're gonna get torched if they come on the court. You put LaMarcus Aldridge in a playoff series and in a drop, he's gonna get torched. Like, he's gonna get torched. They're gonna attack him every single time. Like, Blake Griffin, he led the league in charges, this and that. You put him in a playoff series against these Celtics, he's getting torched. And my favorite thing about playoff basketball is the random guy who goes off and wins the game for his team. We seen it last game, Celtics and Nets. Peyton Pritchard goes out there. I think he has 8 points in the fourth quarter, I think. And he just made the shot after shot in the fourth to close out the game for them.
Breaking ankles.
Exactly. Like, that. We see the series we're going to talk about next, Timberwolves Grizzlies. Brandon Clark has the Brandon Clark game last night. They come back. But to put a cap on this Celtics Nets series before we move on, do you see the Nets coming back and making it a series?
Tell you, man, I don't. This series, I'm really not sure.
Because I understand. I can understand though.
Cause it's like I'm still trying to believe it. Cause I have never seen KD get locked up like this, like at all. So it's like I keep on telling myself like it's only been 2 games, but I keep telling myself like KD is not gonna have another night like this. But they are locking him up. So
if he has a good game, do they win? That's the question. Even if he has a good game, does it make a difference?
Nah, because I feel like him and Kyrie gotta have great games.
They're just over
maybe 30 plus.
Yeah, they're a 7th seed for a reason. I want to take it back to my own squad. The Heat last season, they were going into a series against the Milwaukee Bucks. It was a 3-6 matchup, and I was going into that series confident. I thought he were about to come back and win. But at the end of the day, they were a 6 seed for a reason. Like, they just weren't at that level of the other team they were playing. And the same thing goes with the Celtics and the Nets. Everybody's scared. They should have avoided them, this and that. But they're a 7 seed for a reason. And the Celtics are a 2 seed for a reason.
Simmons? Ben Simmons can add some defense.
He can add some defense, but what else is he adding? Like, he has never been a playoff performer. Like that just doesn't unless they're playing him at the 5, which is his natural. That's where he should be playing. He hasn't played with this team all season long. If you think a guy is about to just step in and just automatically just be a seamless fit, this doesn't make no sense to me. And I don't trust Steve Nash to be the coach to do that. Like, he's getting mollywopped right now by Ime Udoka. Like Ime's hitting him knockout punch after knockout punch. He's not like a lot of this. Kevin Durant's having a bad series, yes. A lot of it is on Steve Nash because he's not drawing up the plays to get him open shots. Like, Kevin Durant's getting face guarded the whole time. You have to do something about that. You have to scheme something. Get him into certain positions. Playing with certain guys on the court. Draw up different plays. Like, I just feel like he's not doing that. And Ime Udoka is just coaching a hell of a series.
Yeah, he is. The first year, too. Like,
coming out of the Pop system of a Popovich disciple. We seen a disciple win a championship last season in Budenholzer. Ime Udoka has a chance to win one this season. Shout out to Pop. But we're going to move on to the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves series. We've seen Game 1, Timberwolves handed it to him. They brought it to him. Game 2 was a blowout. Game 3, the Timberwolves blow a 26. Is it 20? They blow a big lead to these Memphis Grizzlies, and they're showing us why they were the 2 seed. For game 1, everybody wanted to doubt them. Yeah. They got punched in the mouth. Game 2, we seen it, and game 3, these last 2 games are the reason why the Grizzlies are who they are. That's the reason why a lot of people picked them to come out of the Western Conference. The depth, the versatility at each position, the cojones, the guys that don't give a fuck on that team, and they're just not scared of nobody. You go down 21, the Timberwolves, hoorah rah, everybody's all hyped up. You got Cat talking shit on the mic, saying we in Minnesota now. Ja Morant comes out, drops a triple double, and Brandon Clark has a Brandon Clark game. Just a hell of a performance by him.
Minnesota should be embarrassed.
Yeah, that was an embarrassing loss. Honestly, it was. But I wanted to highlight Taylor Jenkins because I was doubting him. I thought that he had to make some adjustments after game 1. Like he was getting.
Mm-hmm.
I understand a lot of coaches don't make them immediately in the game. They don't make adjustments, but moving forward, he has made those adjustments. I wrote some of them down. First, Steven Adams out of the rotation. Game 1 got torched by Karl-Anthony Towns. Game 2, Kyle Anderson and Brandon Clark got majority of those minutes. Steven Adams plays the first 2-3 minutes. He's out the game, and they win that game big time. In Game 2, it's Xavier Tillman that gets a majority of those minutes, and he had just a great game as well. That was the Xavier Tillman game. Game 2, he had a hell of a game. Game 3, Kyle Anderson starts, and we see in game 2 and game 3, the matchup on Karl-Anthony Towns, it went from being Steven Adams, so they put athleticism on him, a Brandon Clark, a Kyle Anderson, and Xavier Tillman, guys that can really move their feet. And we've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Karl-Anthony Towns is struggling now. He's having more fouls than field goals made. We had a question.
He was.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I could get a bad game, but you got to put up. Come on, Cat.
Looks like Jimmy Butler was
at
right.
home.
It's like, now let me stop.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Every time he has a bad game where the Timberwolves lose, it's Jimmy Butler's trending on Twitter.
They call him soft.
Not for real. But yeah, he has to do the adjustment that Taylor Jenkins has made in those two. This really frustrated Cat. They're getting to him. He's been struggling. And then we see offensive wise, more game 3, we saw way more Ja Morant and oh my god, now I can't remember his name. Brandon Clark. Ja Morant and Brandon Clark pick and roll. 2 athletes. And they just couldn't stop it in game 3. They're getting to the basket every single time, and that's all she wrote. I think it's over.
Yeah. After that loss, I think that's when they were supposed to take off. Come back to the crib 2-1. It's over. I don't think Minnesota. I never had Minnesota win them.
I didn't either. I don't remember exactly where I had it. Let me see. I wrote all my series down. I had Grizzlies in 5 games. I thought that game 1, it looked bad. Second, look back at it. It was, I don't want to say it was an anomaly, but the stuff that was going wrong for the Grizzlies were stuff that they were good at all season long. Like they had the 10 turnovers in the third quarter. That was something that they just been good at all year long. Game 1, they stopped them from getting in transition. They forced them to be a half-court team. They got out rebounded. They were getting killed on the offensive glass. And we've seen that just took another direction. That's what they are. They're a great offensive rebounding team. They force live ball turnovers. They get in transition. And they just been playing their style of basketball, and that's what they have to do. What are your thoughts on that series, though? You think it's Grizz in how many games?
I think Grizzlies in 6.
Grizzlies in 6? I like it.
I think Grizzlies in 6.
Is Anthony Edwards, that's Minnesota Timberwolves' best player?
Yes.
You think that's how it should be moving forward?
Yeah.
For sure. What do you think?
Yeah. Honestly, to be honest,
What do you think they should add to that squad? Like, what are they missing? Is it just experience? Do they need something like this? Is it a player on their team's development? Like, what do you think they're missing?
I like. I like what's I don't know his name. I think it's McDaniel's on the bench,
Jaden McDaniels. Yeah, that's
and
the
I like
same guy I was
Jaden
thinking about.
McDaniels.
That's the same guy I
Yeah,
was
I
thinking
like
about.
him.
I think once he
Um,
starts, his 3-pointer has been getting better since he's gotten to the NBA. Once it just starts falling, I expect him to. I love Vandy. Vanderbilt's been a hell of a defender this season, but he just doesn't bring what Jaden McDaniels brings to the court offensively.
he doesn't bring no like he might get some pick and rolls, offensive rebounds or whatever, but you're not running no play for Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
And I like Patrick. I like I actually like Patrick. So I'm not. I like what he brings, his antics or whatever. But a younger two guard that could provide some of the same things would be good. Another, but it's kind of because you got D'Lo, Anthony Edwards, Cat. It's kind of like those are three different players because you kind of already got a lot. You don't really need too much, but they still got to know how to score. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't, honestly, if I'm them, I think come draft time, you have to look for like their version of like just a two-way power forward to play next to Cat. Like I think Vanderbilt and McDaniels are great players, but I would like them more playing the three. Like go big, put Ann at the two, put one of those guys at the three, and you get another stretch forward that can play defense. There's plenty of those in his draft, guys that they could run next to the forward with Cat. Because we see, I don't want to call him soft, but we're seeing it. He needs somebody else over there with him. He's not the best rebounder in the
Oh
league.
yeah.
He's gonna need help on that side of the court as well. Like defensively, he hasn't like he just gets into foul trouble too easily, and his dumb fouls too, like stuff that could be avoidable. But
A stretch four, definitely, yeah. No, he it's what's going on? Okay. He definitely isn't the best rebounder. He still get a lot of boards, but that is true. He's someone down there that could, get gritty down there with him. Cause he is
he
at the
needs like
last
a
game,
he
I'm
needs like a
sorry.
PJ Tucker next to him.
A PJ Tucker, yeah.
Like you need like
Or
Imagine PJ Tucker and Patrick Beverly on the same team. That would be crazy. Or
oh my
like
gosh.
Marcus Morris would be a crazy fit over there. Like that would be
Oh yeah,
good.
Marcus
Somebody
Morris
with some
too.
attitude on that team.
And he can score too.
Yeah.
Stretch the floor. Vanderbilt
Batum.
just doesn't provide nothing offensively. Batum,
Batum would be great. He can handle the ball. Just anybody from the Clippers.
anybody,
Oh,
yeah, anybody.
all those wings
Covington,
that they got over there. Oh, Covington. They used to have him too.
need him now.
Yeah, they had Covington. Yeah, they did. Yeah, that would be a great pickup if they could get him. But I think that another thing we're seeing is we thought that we thought that these other guys were just like in the not in the same conversation, but like aren't not as far away from the Jokic and the Embiids, those top two centers in the league. But we just seeing Bam, Cat, and Rudy Gobert. They're just not on those guys' levels. Like we seen it now.
Oh yeah.
Rudy Gobert isn't even like he just gets schemed off the floor. Bam is just not enough of a like an option offensively. He could just get not schemed off, but he just gets his aggression isn't all the way there. He gets too comfortable offensively.
Mhm.
And Cat is just isn't good enough defensively to be in the conversation with those two guys. Yeah, so we're seeing it now. Like
They,
it's those guys and it's everybody else. That's really how we're
yeah,
seeing it. Same thing with
the top
DeAndre Ayton.
centers, yeah.
Like DeAndre Ayton was on his way there, but Valanciunas is giving him the work right now. His rebounding has been
It
insane.
is, yeah. And in the regular season too.
Yeah, I'm not a
Always.
big Ayton guy, but I think he's solid. I think he's a center you can win a championship with. But speaking of Gobert, let's get to that series.
Okay.
The Mavs go up 2-1. Jalen Brunson is doing his best Luka impression. He goes off for 41 in game 2. He goes off for 31 in game 3. And they're just doing the blueprint. They're doing what the same thing that the Clippers did, same thing that the Rockets did. Just go 5 out, and they have no answers to that defensively. And I have a play that I want to show you guys. Let's hope this works. Throw it on the screen right here. Rudy Gobert just keeps getting caught in no man's land. You see first, Royce O'Neal calls for the switch. He tells Rudy Gobert to go back into the paint. He's got his man. Rudy Gobert helps on a driver because Jordan Clarkson gets beat, which has happened nonstop. Clarkson, Conley, Royce O'Neal, Donovan Mitchell, they've all gotten beat off the dribble nonstop. He helps, and this leaves a shooter out in the corner, which is open every single time. And this is Reggie Bullock who hits this one. And we've seen it time and time again with whether it's get back to the screen. This is whether it's Maxi Kleber, Reggie Bullock, Josh Green, everybody that's over there. They're just getting wide open corner threes. And they're hitting these shits out of like an electric rate.
No,
What do you
okay, so
Yeah, who do you blame?
go ahead.
That's the question. Who is to blame for the Jazz collapse? If you want to rank them,
For the
if you
Jazz
want to give me one guy
collapse,
specifically, you take the floor.
hmm, who can I blame? Honestly, I'm gonna blame. I'm gonna. I don't want. I'm gonna say everybody defensively except for Rudy. That's why, and they was attacking Donovan Mitchell a lot, which I saw making him work. But I feel like watching that series, like sometimes they rely on Rudy without even knowing. Like
Yeah,
Rudy got it.
I feel the same way. They're too reliant on him. It's just too much
And it's like,
miscommunications.
you feel me? Like I ain't, yeah. Like I don't even know what to say because I can't believe they down 2-1 without Luca. Like worst
Yeah,
case scenario, they're going back to Dallas tied. Like that was not supposed to happen without Luca. I'm not like, come on, man.
facts. Like that
Yeah,
shit is.
I got a question too.
Yeah,
Do you think this is the end of this little Jazz squad that's going on? Gobert, Rudy. I'm not Gobert, Rudy. Gobert, Mitchell.
yeah.
Think it's done after the
For
season?
for it has to be. Like I think it's me personally. It's probably gonna be, but I don't think it's their faults. I blame Quinn Snyder. I've been saying that time and time again. He just does not make adjustments. His system has been schemed out of every single year in the playoffs. The answer is out there. You just have to play a different scheme. Like either you give up they're giving up threes for twos, which I agree with. Your Rudy Gobert's job is to defend the paint, is to defend the basket. But when your perimeter defenders
Mm-hmm.
get beat off the dribble nonstop, your other guys have to rotate and cover for where Rudy Gobert's helping off of. Like you see these great defenses, the Heat, the Celtics, the Suns. When somebody collapses, everybody else rotates, and that's just what you. That's how you play winning basketball. And I don't know, multiple years running now, the Jazz are just not doing it. Like Rudy Gobert, we seen it on
At
that
all.
last play. He helps on the drive, and then nobody helps on his man that's in the corner. Like and now they're running off ball screens to get that open corner three. It's just
Mm,
it's got to be
What
quick.
team you think will be a good fit for Rudy Gobert?
I
Like,
think
say,
any team he goes to, not any team, obviously, not a team that already has a center, but like my dream scenario for him, I want to see him on Toronto.
Dallas.
Dallas would be crazy
Toronto be
too.
crazy.
I really want to see him go to
Toronto,
Toronto. Like I just feel like that would
Toronto would
be
be crazy.
like defensively they will be a beast defensively. Their offense has been their biggest
No,
problem against the not even against
yeah,
the
that
Sixers. It's been
would.
everything, but him going to Toronto would just be that would be fun.
Yeah,
Do you have
because I like
maybe
the way
even
Toronto is set up.
me too moving forward? They're in the right position. What about a team like Charlotte?
He's definitely gonna help that defense
Yeah,
for sure.
shit. And I feel like they have better guys that fight over screens. Like that's the Jazz problem. They don't fight over screens.
Talking about Charlotte, would you for defensive purposes? Should they try to look and see what's available for Terry Rozier or keep him?
Honestly, I would listen to phone calls for Terry Rozier. Like you have like LaMelo's gonna have you want the ball in his hands. Even though I think Terry's been unbelievable for him since he's gotten there. He's lived up to his contract. He's been
Mm-hmm.
playing great basketball over there. But like it is what it is. Like if you get the right package, if you could get I wouldn't be honestly, if I'm Charlotte, everybody but LaMelo could go. Like honestly, even
Oh
Miles Bridges,
yeah,
the season he's had, I really could. If you get the right package, if somebody's offering him the max and they can't afford it, and it's a sign and trade, you take it. Honestly,
oh
like
yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, for
Same
sure.
thing with Gordon Hayward, with everybody on that team. You want Book Knight? Throw me a first round pick. We talking like everybody on that team. They could go, except for Lamelo. He's obviously their building block. He's the one they're building around. But everybody else, like you're not competing with that roster.
Yeah, yeah.
But Gobert would be solid over there, and I trust their guards to fight over screens. Like I would like to see him on there with Terry Rozier as his point guard, and Lamelo will actually get him the ball. Like this is another thing. Teams go small against the Jazz, and they just don't combat it offensively. Like Rudy Gobert is not a
Oh
good
my
post player. He
god.
cannot he's not a good offensive threat. But as a role man, as a lob threat, like he's there, and you have to make that an option. Like you can't have them throwing like Dorian Finney-Smith guarding him and shit. Like you have to be able to combat that. That's been their
I see that
problem.
a lot too.
Like the biggest Rudy Gobert truther, but God, he's one of my favorite bigs in the league. He's got to do something offensively. Like defensively, he's
Yeah,
doing everything he can. They rely on him too much, but I don't think they rely on him enough offensively. He's got to get more touches, even if it's not going in. But just make it an option, a threat to score down there, to where teams can't just go small on you, and then you're running five out, and then you're just running all over the place, guarding in space, and they just can't do that.
but yeah. Cause I do realize that sometimes I'm looking at Donovan Mitchell and it's like, yo, I see Brunson or whoever it is, Dinwiddie on Baton. I'm not on Baton, so Rudy
Yeah, they've been
Gobert.
playing Bertans at the five a lot now, and
Yeah, yeah.
he's a
Baton's too.
terrible
That's probably why I
defender.
said it.
He's a
Yeah,
terrible
so
defender.
it's that's crazy.
Yeah,
But
it's just been
Brunson though, he's getting some money this
he's
offseason.
getting paid. And did you see that the Knicks like front office and like you see they were over there watching the game? Like
Trying
I don't
to
know if they were
yeah,
watching
trying
the
to
I don't know if they were watching it for Donovan Mitchell, but Brunson's gonna be a free agent, and that's the big talk is they're gonna throw him a bag this offseason. And
talking
he's
talking
gonna
about
go.
that. Hmm. Talking about that real quick. I don't want to stay on it too long. Let you go. Let you get talking about the next topic and all. But I hear when the people talking about Donovan Mitchell to New York or whatever, or maybe Miami because his relationship with Bam. Can you see
Yeah.
that? How can you see that working? How does that
For which side? Like I've last time we spoke,
for?
me and last week, I had a fake trade.
Mm,
Julius Randle, whatever young player you want, picks all that for Donovan Mitchell. If I'm the Jazz, I'm taking it. Like
you
if you could
take
add
it?
him, yes, you add him. You keep Mike Conley, you keep Jordan Clarkson, you keep Bogdanovich, you keep Rudy Gobert. You're gonna have a stout defense because you're adding a great defender in Julius Randle. Like, and you could groom another offensive player like Donovan Mitchell. Like he's a hell of a player. Like Donovan Mitchell's one of the best players in the league, but he's not. I think he's replaceable. But on the Miami front, if you're asking me, am I trading Tyler Hero for him? The answer is yes. Like next 10 years, would I rather have him and Bam or Tyler and Bam? Give me Donovan Mitchell and Bam. Like no
Yeah,
hesitation. And
yeah.
Bam is the guy that could really make up for Donovan Mitchell's like shortcomings as a defender.
Defense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love that, but I just think if it came down to it, Miami would just get outbid. Unless Donovan Mitchell's like, that's where I want to be. Like we've seen, like him and D Wade's relationship. Like he said, he grew up a Heat fan, all this and that. But I would be excited. And you know Pat Riley, like anytime there's a big name player out there on the market, like he's going after him.
Oh yeah. Yep. Throwing
Yeah, I like.
rings and everything.
And even if would you trade Rudy Gobert for Julius Randle if you're the Knicks? Like Rudy and Mitchell
Probably
Robinson.
not. Oh, okay. Then, yeah. Probably, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because me
Entertainment.
personally, I think you gotta play the young guys. Like we've seen it. The Knicks were. I'm not a Julius Randle fan. I've said it multiple times on the show. You got to play the young guys if you're the Knicks. And RJ had a great season, in my opinion.
That's
Major
Argentine.
quickly. And thank you, bro. And Major quickly came on late. Obi Toppin came on late. Like Quentin Grimes was good when he was healthy. You have Miles McBride like averaging 25 and 10 in the G League. Like they have options they could go to. I think they got to move on with that. But let's stay on topic. Let's get to the next playoff series. Let's talk about the Poole Party. Jordan Poole,
Lord.
30, 29, 26, first 3 playoff games. He's just given the. Before we talk about that, are the Denver Nuggets the worst team in the playoffs?
Yes. Yes.
Like
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I feel so bad for Jokic because don't get me wrong, with Jamal Murray and Michael Porter, Denver was still not beating Golden State.
but they
At
wouldn't
least you
beat
have
that.
a chance.
It would be a conversation, though. It would be a conversation.
Yeah,
Honestly.
you know.
If you're talking about they're both healthy, like that's something like they could contend for a championship if that team is healthy. Because think about it.
Curry off the bench is crazy, bro.
But Curry's like going to be a starter. Like he's playing starter minutes. I
And
understand.
yeah, I know, but I'm just like Jordan Poole. Like this just changed the ball game. Like,
Yeah,
bro.
the Warriors look scary, but don't get it wrong, bro. If the Nuggets are fully healthy, they're competing for a championship. Like you look at this, those guys there, you're moving guys that are in the starting lineup down to the bench. That gives them more bench depth. Then you keep in Aaron Gordon goes from being their second option to being their fourth option, where he's just a cleanup guy, getting offensive rebounds, playing defense, getting drives to the rim, scoring in transition. Like his job
about
just
the
gets
bench?
way easier. Off the bench, you got guys like Bryn Forbes, who's a shooter. Will Barton, he's probably going to be starting, but I thought he's had a hell of a season. Bones Highland is still there. Like
Okay, yeah.
Jeff Green
I
and
feel
Jermichael
like
Green are still there. Jeff Green probably get moved to the bench, and you'd be a solid piece coming off that bench too.
yeah.
They wouldn't be matched up with the
I
with the
just
Warriors if they were fully healthy.
you think so? You think with a healthy Jamal Murray and Michael Porter, what team would they be in the West? Like the first best team, second, third, fourth?
I would probably have them a fully healthy. I'll probably have them as a third, as a seed or as in like championship odds.
Like championship odds. Like when it
So I
comes down
would
to the
pick
playoffs and the
I
real.
would pick the Warriors and the Suns probably over them. Yeah, probably because I just think the the Nuggets just don't have good enough defenders on their team to make like a.
They'll be better than Memphis.
I would pick them to beat Memphis in
Yeah.
a 7-game series.
Yeah, that is you. Yeah, that changed the ball game, Jamal. And yeah,
That Jamal Michael Porter Jr. Like you're adding, and then like the biggest problem for the Nuggets right now is they don't have secondary shot creation. Like it's Jokic is their center, and he's literally got to do everything for them. And then he has Draymond Green just hounding him, and he's having to guard Draymond Green, who's in every single action that the Warriors do.
no, yeah. He's not winning the championship with Monte Morris as a point guard.
And that moves him to the bench, and he's a great backup point guard. Like he's had
But
one of the best
great.
turnover
Yeah.
ratios. But him as your starter, him as like your main shot creator, as like outside of Jokic and Will Barton and shit, like nah, that's just not gonna cut it, bro.
Wow.
They're gonna come back next season, and I think that's gonna be scary for the West. I think so.
Yeah.
I will pick them when they're healthy. I'm picking them to win the West next year. That's too soon to say some shit like that. I've been throwing out some hot takes though. Like, last episode, I was like that the Pelicans next season are going to be a top 5 seed in the West, and that one I'm standing by it. You had Zion on that
Zion
team.
could get,
because
Zion, we had in number 25. 25.
Yeah.
Feel me? Like that's a lot.
I was like 65% shooting.
Feel me? Rebounder.
And then the spacing he's gonna have. Oh my god. With BI, with CJ McCollum, with Herb Jones, who shot 40% from 3 this year. Not on Herb. Like, come on, bro.
And I like that Valanciunas Zion little.
I feel like that's why they're playing Jackson Hayes there, because it's gonna be the most reminiscent of Zion. Like he's the closest thing they have to Zion as like on their team. Even though
because Nance ain't jumping.
Point Zion, they was running him at like point guard last year. Oh my god. Zion's he's gonna wake the league up next year. Everybody forgot about him. This and that. He's not this. People are putting Trae Young above him. Like he's still to me, it's Luka, it's Tatum, as like the young players move forward, it's Luka, it's Tatum, and he's right there behind those two guys. I think no debate. Like the shit he did, he had a historic second season. But let's get to the Trae Young conversation.
Okay.
Coming into the series, you see me. I look for all Heat slander. I was looking for people that was talking down on us, and I was seeing a lot of the Hawks have the best player in the series. That Trae Young is better than Jimmy Butler. But what they failed to understand, like what Draymond said, there's 82 game players and there's 16 game players.
16.
And when you got Jimmy Butler over there, a two-way player, attacking Trae Young every single time down the court, and this is just leading to easy buckets for him. He drops a 45 piece. He goes for 21 in game 1. He closes it out in game 2. He hits 4 3-pointers. They're just not in the same conversation.
Yeah.
Like,
because Jimmy just provides so much.
Yeah.
And he's showing that if he really cared about scoring and really wanted to score 25 a night or whatever, he really could. Like,
that's why I think
like this Jimmy.
Failing to understand is like he doesn't like he's one of these guys like they have too many of these type of players that they don't care. Like they don't care about scoring. Like Bam is the same way. Bam has moments where he goes off, where he plays good, but he just doesn't care. Like Jimmy Butler, same. He could have games where he has 10 shot attempts. He has 8 shot attempts. Kyle Lowry, he's not even shooting the ball this series, but you see the impact from all three of those guys. Like, there's just a difference. The defense that they're playing right now on Trae Young has just been like some prison shit. They have that man in prison, locking him up like Akon said.
Yeah, they got him locking him up. Do you think that changed tonight?
Yeah, I think they win the game tonight. I think they win the
For
game tonight.
Miami or Atlanta?
It's in Atlanta. I think Atlanta wins the game tonight. I got Miami winning
Yeah,
in
okay.
5
They do
games.
play different at home.
Yeah, they've been a good home team. I
Wow.
think they're gonna at least pull one of these games out. But actually, I have another clip I want to show. This is why Trae Young is gonna struggle in a playoff setting. I think last season the matchups were perfect for him. Knicks, they had nobody that can attack him. Sixers, they had nobody that can attack him. And then we seen in the Bucks that they were going at him in that series. And we seen it in game 2. Jimmy Butler calls for the pick and roll. Kyle Lowry, he's a screener. We've seen this a lot in the first 2 games. Kyle Lowry's a screener for Jimmy Butler. Wing to guard pick and roll. Kyle Lowry's a hell of a screener. He's one of the most in the league behind Steph Curry for his position. And we've seen it every time. Trae Young is avoiding it at all costs. He does not want to be caught guarding him. And it's just like, what kind of defense is this? This is why. Like, he doesn't even attempt to stop him from getting to the rim. At least foul him, nothing. That's just an easy 2 points. This is a 3-point game. That cuts it to 5 with 2 minutes left. It's possessions like that where it's like you gotta show at least a little more effort, a little more fight on that side of the court.
Yeah, he just gave up.
Yeah.
He gave up like you bigger than me. You got it.
Exactly. We've seen it the whole time. We've seen it since game 1 where it's like he just doesn't want to even get caught on a switch against him. I get it though.
Yeah.
That's a bully out there. That's somebody that he's lowering his shoulder.
He's a defensive liability though.
Yeah, a huge one, like a big defensive liability. And the Hawks were playing, I think game 1, why it was such a blowout was because they were playing 2 of them on the court at the same time. With Gallinari, who was just a 0 out there on defense. Like, he wasn't doing jack shit. He wasn't getting nothing, no stops, nothing. But
this series, and then Miami got so much depth. People like Markieff Morris and Oladipo is still on the bench. They not even getting no burn.
yeah, I think that's gonna help them in the long run. Like, we've seen it. Like, Duncan Robinson gets into foul trouble. He scores 27 points in game 1.
Crazy.
Game 2, he plays 5 minutes in the game. Caleb Martin gets those minutes, and it's like they didn't miss a beat. Bam Adebayo and PG Tucker both get into foul trouble. They're down to this. This is Bam gets to foul trouble first. They put PG Tucker at the 5. They throw a lineup. It's Kyle, it's Jimmy, it's Strus, it's Tucker, and it's Martin. That's 5 out. Jimmy Butler is straight downhill every possession. Nobody's standing in front of him. Like, they can say what you want about his jump shot, but he's still a downhill machine. Like, nobody can stay in front of him. He puts
Did he hit a couple threes last game too? Like
4 3-pointers in that game. Yeah.
God damn.
This is playoff Jimmy now. Which is that shit is just, I don't know if he just be waiting or what, but
damn.
The last 2 weeks of the season, I think he went like 10 of 22. Like, he shot above 40%. Like, the last 2 weeks. And now it's just, he got into the playoffs. He had 2 game 1, I believe. He hits 4 in game 2. Like, if the 3-pointers falling, that just takes his Heat team to a whole different level.
I have a question.
Like that, yeah. Go ahead.
So, is Miami the clear-cut favorites in the East to you? Or is it Boston?
I think I would put Boston and Miami in the same tier.
Okay.
Philly is also right there. I don't really believe in their defense, me personally. I think Toronto's shot selection was just awful in game 3. Like, but kudos to them. Like, they've looked outside of Golden State. Golden State's looked the best in the NBA. Out of all the teams, they've played like the best basketball. And Philly's right behind them. They've looked great. I had Toronto winning that series. I was obviously wrong. They came out and they've just beat them down. Like, they can't. But I want to see. I feel like Doc Rivers is out coaching Nick Nurse too. Like, I want to see him put out a different scheme. It's too late now. Now it's 3-0.
Yeah, it's done now.
I'm throwing a lot of clips out here. I have one more. I have the game-winning shot by Joel. And I just want to show the breakdown. Why why Philly got this type of shot off, and how Toronto fucked up. So it starts off. You see Maxey, you see Niang. They're both cutting to the right side. Joel Embiid's at the top of the key in the mid-range area, and Tobias Harris sets the screen for him. But first, you have Van Vliet as the lone man at the rim. You have nobody guarding the inbound pass. He's a lone man in the paint, which I don't understand this. Another thing I don't get is why is Gary Trent Jr. on the court and not a guy like Boucher who has more size, more length,
Yeah,
or a guy like Thaddeus Young.
yeah.
And then another thing is you have Precious as the guy on Joel Embiid. Yes, he's their center. But I will, if I'm Nick Nurse, I'm putting OG Anunoby or Pascal Siakam as the guy chasing Joel Embiid. Because you knew he was going to get the ball. Like everybody knew Joel Embiid was going to get the ball in this moment. He gets freed off the screen from Tobias Harris, a great screen on Precious. Van Vliet's too late to help. Precious can't recover fast enough. And this is practically a wide open shot for a 7-foot center, for a 7-foot guy like Joel Embiid. A turnaround jumper. Guys his size should not be getting shots off like this. Or even capable of hitting this shot. But he's just that type of talent. He's that level of player. And that's just a wide open three, and that shit falls. He gets his revenge on Toronto. I think, more than anything, a beautiful play ran by Doc Rivers.
Yeah, Doc did his thing.
And I don't think he's a good coach. Like I said it time and time again. I don't think he's a good coach. Most 3-1 leads blown in the NBA. But you got to tip your hat off to that.
How you feel about how James Harden?
I honestly feel like he hasn't looked that good. Like he's not. I feel like Maxey's been their second best player. Tyrese Maxey's been balling out.
Then, yeah, that's why I asked too, because I agree.
I don't know.
Maxey's a demon.
I think in a series against Miami, I feel like Spoelstra is going to be able to scheme against Harden. The problem with Toronto's defense is they're doubling too much on Harden, and they're not. I think there's the stat. I don't have the exact number, but he's shooting less than 40% in the 2-point area. He's hit a couple of step backs, hit a couple of catch and shoot threes. But when it's getting to the rim and finishing through contact or finishing with somebody at the rim, he's been struggling. And it's been like this all season long. He's had his worst field goal percentage he's had in a long time. He's at below 45%. He's at below 35% from three. He just has not been efficient.
Why do you think that's the case? You think he just one of them years, or is it?
I think he's declining. I think that the hamstring injury from last season is really taking a toll.
Okay.
I think that he wasn't in shape to start the season. I think that.
You think he's still out of shape right now?
Probably not. I just don't think he's as. He
That's
was never.
explosive?
Yeah, he was never the best athlete.
Yeah.
A lot of his game was he's beating guys off the dribble, and once you lose a little bit of that step, like it gets tougher. Like guys like Malachi Flynn are just really like keeping up with him.
And that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, and I just think it's gonna be different in a series against Miami because they're gonna have guys like Toronto. Oh, we lost him. Toronto is gonna have guys like Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby guarding him, but they're gonna get switched off. Then with Jimmy Butler, welcome back. With Jimmy Butler, with PJ Tucker. Yeah, I hear you. PJ Tucker, Kyle Lowry, those guys. Bam's gonna get switched on to him. I guess it's gonna be hell for him in that series. But Maxey would be the X factor. I hear you.
I'm trying to.
Oh, we have a technical difficulties on the last topic too.
Hear you real quick.
You good?
Something?
You good?
I can't hear you.
We're just gonna cut it there. That's it though. That was the last topic. Thank y'all for tuning in. And we'll be back on Monday. And enjoy the weekend. Playoff basketball.